welcome Badar Khan with National Grid to the stage. Please join me in welcoming Badar.
Thanks, Christine. Thank you. Thank you, Christine. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. I first came to an ETS event 4 years ago. Actually, I think I was one of the opening speakers on the first morning of the first day of the first ETS event. So I'm delighted to be back here today. Back then, I worked with a different company, and today I work with National Grid, which many of you probably know is one of the larger publicly traded utilities in the world, with operations in the UK and in the northeastern United States, so New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. And I think, at least I believe, I have the best job in the company. I run its competitive businesses globally, as well as strategy, M&A, and an innovation and ventures group. So I spent the last 20 years of my career, my professional career, trying to win customers away from regulated utility service. And so when I joined Grid, one of the big questions on my mind was, how do we think about customers here? And what I found is something I could not appreciate from outside looking in, which is that there is a tremendous sense of purpose amongst the employees of National Grid. And that's a purpose that is rooted in a service ethos, in serving our customers. The last few weeks up in the Northeast has surely been testament to that, where we've had 4 nor'easters in a row in less than 4 weeks. And to see our people respond day in and day out to ensure that power stays on for our customers, or for those that haven't got power, comes back on as quickly as possible, has surely been inspiring for me. But I believe being there for our customers is not enough. I think there has been a shift of power that's been going on for generations, for ages, from rulers to the ruled, to people. People are more empowered today than they've ever been before. In recent years, thanks to the technology that we carry around in our pockets, and that's only increasing. The regulated utility model is interesting, I think is quite unique, where while we provide a service to our customers, the price for that service is not agreed directly with the customers for whom we provide services, and instead with a third party, with regulators. And I appreciate there's a big stakeholder process involved there. But as people are exercising their voice more than ever before, I've got to believe the job for regulators is getting harder. People are demanding more, putting pressure on politicians and regulators, who put pressure in turn on the utilities. So if you believe this narrative and you're a regulated utility, what do? I believe it will no longer be enough for us to provide safe, reliable, resilient, efficient energy delivery systems for our customers. We will still need to do that, but we'll also need to be there when our customers need us the most, at times of their need. But I believe we also need to work hard at figuring out how we delight our customers. And I use that word delight deliberately, because I believe we need to overcome the fact that we don't have a relationship with our customers where we agree a price with them for the service that we offer. And so in order to delight our customers and the communities in which they live and work, I believe we need to truly understand our customers and their needs at a level and in a way deeper than ever before. And this isn't a journey that's new for many other companies in many other industries, and one we need to go on. One of the things I love about startups is that they have no money, or not a lot of money. And I used to be at a startup, used to help to run one 15 to 20 years ago. And when you don't have any money, you can't afford to waste time because you run out of money. And so there is a laser focus on figuring out what problem or need that they're trying to solve, and whether and how and why their solution is better than whatever else might be in the marketplace. And if they don't figure that out quickly, they run out of money. And so that laser focus on solving customer needs is something I think the best startups obsess about all the time. And it's something that, unfortunately, in large companies, we don't have enough of. Unfortunately, in large companies, there's plenty of other things to keep us occupied beyond obsessing about customer needs. So when I think about how do we, as a regulated utility, truly understand customers' needs at a level that's deeper than ever before, I actually think there's a lot that we can learn from entrepreneurs and the startup community. So let's say we figured out that insight and we translate that insight into innovation and develop products and services that delights, using my words, delights customers. Well, in the old days, or traditionally, big companies would create R&D functions, and they would go through that process. They'd locate them in a basement or another facility away from everyone else to keep them from being distracted, and they would invent things. And those inventions were designed to take them forward in that innovation cycle. And typically, you'd slap a whole bunch of IP, intellectual property, protection around that, and you generate cash flows, new or incremental, from that position of protected invention. But is that really the way forward in the world that we're living in today? The world we're in today, everyone says, is more dynamic, less static, changing faster than ever before. So in that environment, in our space, everyone talks about decarbonization, decentralization, digitization, as well as rising consumer empowerment. So in that environment, how do you translate insights, if you're able to get them, into successful innovation when the world is less predictable than it was before? You used to be able to answer every question that you had. You had a question, you knew there would be an answer about the future because you could extrapolate the future. Today, there are any number of answers to any questions because there are so many different potential pathways. So how do you actually deliver successful innovation in that environment? I believe that companies need to venture out before they have answers to their questions about the future in order to get answers about the future. And one way of de-risking that journey is to not go alone, to go down that journey with others, to collaborate with people outside of yourselves. I believe that success today is driven more through collaboration and delivering new products and services faster to the market than it has been through a position of protected invention. So that brings me to my two key points from my talk this morning. One is, in a world where consumers are more empowered than ever before, it is imperative for large companies, large or small companies, to obsess around customer needs and to get deeper into understanding what customers really want. And secondly, in order to deliver that, in a world that's rapidly changing, we need to collaborate more, be less insular, collaborate with companies large and small, and particularly also startups, not just for the technology innovation they bring, but also because I think the successful ones have an obsession around customer needs that we can learn from. And that's the journey that we've been on here at National Grid, over the last 2 or 3 years. 2.5 years ago, we joined together with Southern Company, Excel, and Australia's AGL to provide the initial funding for a new strategic equity fund, Energy Impact Partners, whose goal was to identify and invest in entrepreneurs in the energy and the utility space and connect them, so collaborate with energy incumbents. Today, we've got EIP has 14 utility partners, has raised $500 million in its fund, which I think makes it one of the larger funds in the utility space, and has already invested in 18 portfolio companies. These are startups working on things ranging from actionable insights to help customers manage their consumption to platforms that manage and aggregate distributed energy resources like storage and electric vehicles. Of the 18 portfolio companies, 11 are software plays, pure software, no hardware. And of the 18 companies, roughly half, 18 portfolio companies to date, roughly half are engaged in pilots or partnerships or some level of full-scale deployment across some part of National Grid's operations in the UK or the US. In January this year, we stepped up our engagement in the external world by opening up a presence in California. I know it's not Austin, and I need to talk to someone about that. And the recruitment of an in-house ventures team, where we've appointed a woman called Lisa Lambert to head up that effort, who started in January, came to us from the Wesley Group, which is a clean tech VC, and almost 20 years at Intel Capital doing corporate VC work for their software and services investments. Our in-house ventures group will build and expand on the work and the role that EIP provides to us by direct investing in entrepreneurs and startups that are at growth or expansion stage and are ready to partner with our core or emerging businesses. We're also setting up an incubation function to target earlier, more disruptive seed or Series A stage companies, startups that aren't yet ready for deployment but actually could do with some nurturing to get them off the ground. And an innovation or an ideation function, which works with groups like IDEO and Lean Startup Company to accelerate the pace of internal innovation in our company. We've got tons of internal innovation efforts going on, some that last weeks, months, and some that last years. And clearly, that's not a recipe for success. If you're in the entrepreneurial world, you know that doesn't work. Kill the bad ideas quickly and accelerate the good ideas. We also started up a couple of years ago a new agile team called New Energy Solutions that's delivering innovative solutions through pilots and demonstration projects in our regulated utility service territories alongside the efforts of regulators there. And again, these are solutions ranging from distributed energy, storage, clean transport, demand response, energy efficiency, grid modernization, customer engagement, etc. And again, the NES team is collaborating with a large number of companies outside of Grid, large and small, hardware and software, and together they have already funded over $100 million worth of projects. Lastly, on the theme of collaboration, last year we announced a partnership with Sunrun, which is one of the larger, if not the largest, dedicated rooftop solar company in the United States. And that's a partnership that has two components, one where we invest in assets, solar and increasingly solar plus storage, together with a collaboration that's jointly staffed between our two companies to explore the role of these distributed assets and their impact and value to the grid, both in terms of speed of response and locational value, and some pretty interesting and exciting insights coming from there. So, last year I read that Bill Gates said that if he was dropping out of Harvard today, he would not go into the computing business. Instead of the three areas that he said he would go, one was energy, because in his words, the innovation in the energy space today is truly profound, and I could not agree more. And that's one of the reasons why we signed up to join the Breakthrough Energy Coalition a few months ago. That's a coalition, again, founded by Bill Gates, that brings together a significant amount of capital, corporations, and governments to identify and actually accelerate the elapsed time between breakthrough science and commercialization to deliver breakthrough and lasting and sustainable impact on society. So I'm going to wrap up with kind of where I started. I joined Grid a year ago, and I was really amazed and impressed with the level of purpose that exists in our company, of serving our customers. I believe that exists across utilities in the United States and elsewhere, and combined with the level of collaboration that I see, not only at Grid, but in the room here today, where we're collaborating with each other, I believe that we can deliver products and services and propositions that will truly delight customers. And I'm very optimistic about our industry. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic conference. Thank you.